Hello, my dear listeners. My name is Koinsela Abadeside, and you're welcome to another episode of Afrotuk Agro, where we bring to you practicable, insightful, and educative topics on agriculture and how to make your agricultural practices sustainable and more profitable. So today, on today's topic, if you could remember from our last part, we talked about pesticide use in Africa, and we also made mention of some topics and some problems that our farmers has based on this topic. And based on that, we've been able to come with insightful solutions to those topics. And today, on my hand today, we're going to look at how pesticide can be smartly, safely, and sustainably used. So thank you, and sit by as you listen and learn from this episode. So, right, let's dive right into the conversation. So, the first question on my list is, how do I identify the right pest before spraying? This is some of the questions that is on the mind of our farmers. And also, this is not just for experienced farmers. We have a lot of people that didn't go to school or that didn't have pure knowledge about pests, about pesticide use, about farming generally. And these are the questions that is on their mind. How can I identify the right pest before spraying? And one thing I would love to say about that is that before spraying, you need to know what pest you are dealing with. Before spraying, you need to know the pests you are dealing with. And because if you say you want to just, okay, you see a pest and the symptoms looks like the previous one, just spray directly. In that way, you're wasting pesticide as well as you are. That practice is not safe because you don't know if it's going to harm the good pet, because you have some safe pests. So when you are just spraying blindly, you are causing more harm than good. So it is very important for you as a farmer to know the pests you are dealing with and how and what are the steps you need to take to identify this first. The first one on my list is observe the damage. Observe the damage. For example, maybe you have to observe, look carefully at the damage that is being done. Is there a hole? Is there weeds? Are the leaves eaten? And for example, you have to look at the damage to see how you can come in. Like you have to study the damage because most of the pests, they have their own signature. Some pests, they have their own signature. So you have to see how they eat the leaves. You have to see how the leaves look like, the color, the damage that is being done goes a long way in determining the control and the pesticide application, or the pesticide control you are going to do. So you have to pay very good attention to the damage that is being done. Also, look for the pests. In the steps to identify a pest, first of all, you observe the damage. Second of all, you look for the pest. Maybe you try to look around the farm or around the plant. Try to identify a plant that the pest has damaged, and to see if you can see the pest around it. So it will be easier for you to easily identify pests, to easily administer control. So you can check under the leaves in the soil, or on the stem. And this should be done early in the morning or late in the evening. This is going to be more effective late in the morning or late in the evening or early in the morning. So these, first of all, you have to observe the damage, look for the pest by checking on maybe under the leaves, in the soil, around the plants. Check around them, you will be able to see the pest. The third one I have on my list here is use a simple pest chart or guide. Use a simple pest chart or guide. That's the thank God for the advent of social digital technologies. You can easily take a picture of the ant and scan it through some applications, phone applications that are currently available now for agricultural use, or we have extension charts where you can easily identify the pest or the damage that is being done. So this will help you to easily administer pest control. Also, you can use act experts or extension officers. But the most important thing, which is the tip I'm going to leave in this section, is that don't spray blindly. You have to know what you are spraying for. You have to know the attack. You have to know. And another pro tip is that use yellow sticky traps or light traps in your field to monitor insect populations early. It is very important. When you use light traps or yellow traps, it's going to help you to see the population increase, to see how the insect pest population is increasing. So by this way, you are going to avoid spraying blindly or wasting pesticide or just spraying unhealthily. So that is one way to choose to know the right pesticide. Now, how do you choose the right pesticide? How do you choose the right pesticide? After you have known what you're dealing with, after you have known the pests, because it might not be only one, but after you've known the problems you're dealing with, the next thing you have to do now is read your label. Read the label, because when you read the label, it does few things for you. It helps you to know what the pesticide is correctly, and it also helps you to know the pests that the pesticide controls. You will not just, because if you are supposed to spray for if you're supposed to spray maize pest and all the different pests that are affecting maize, you'll be able to know that, okay, this pesticide is working for this pest or these pests. You won't just assume. Assumption is the lowest form of knowledge. So as a smart farmer, the most important thing for you is to read your label. When you read your label, you'll be able to know the pest that this pesticide is controlling, the correct dosage, the safety instruction, the pre-harvest interval. Because most farmers, some farmers, they spray anytime, but there is a particular specific time interval you are supposed to spray before you harvest that particular crop. What if the pest now attack the plant few weeks or few period to the harvest, and you use a pest control that it's even after you harvest, the residue is still in the crop. This is going to cause harm to the consumer, which is why you have to read the label to know the pre-harvest interval, PHI, so that you'll be able to know that, okay, after this time, I cannot spray again, or I have to use another pesticide control. I cannot use this chemical again, because if I use this chemical, it's going to leave residue in my crop and is going to cause harm to anybody consuming the produce. So when you read your label, you'll be able to see some of this information. And also, you'll be able to, some of the things to look for on the label is the active ingredient. The active ingredient, that is the active ingredient that is responsible to kill the pest itself, also the formulation, the right amount of water and chemical you are to use. You will see it from the label. Also, you'll be able to see the target pests and crops, the crops that this chemical is being made for, and the target pest that it is being made for. This information would be provided from the label. So when you don't read the label, you won't be able to know these things. Now, also, you'll be able to see the mixing instruction. You'll be able to see the mixing instruction as well as the safety symbols. For example, when we see a skull, it means this thing is dangerous. When you see flame, it means it is flammable. So when you read the label and you understand it accurately, you will be able to safely apply the pesticide. And it's going to reduce the harm that it is causing to the plant, the soil, and generally the consumer. Now, let's go to how do we mix and apply pesticide? What are the right way to mix and apply pesticide? Now, some people, they add water to chemical. No, the best way to apply chemical is adding water to chemical. For example, you already have your knapsack sprayer or your calibrated sprayer, and you have the right amount of water. You have the right amount of water which you've gotten from the label. You have the right amount of water which you've gotten from the label, and you be able to you measure most pesticide comes with measuring cups. So you'll be able to measure accurately the plant, the amount of chemical which you'll be adding to the water. So the safest method is adding chemical to water. Most people feel like, okay, I can mix water after I pour the chemical in the knapsack sprayer, then I'm going to add water. No, it can cause flame like that. It can cause flame, or even you that you're applying, it can cause harm to you. So the best way to mix chemical is you have the right amount of water in the container, then you add water to it. Then also you wear gloves and goggles to avoid skin contact. You wear gloves and goggles to avoid skin contact. Also, you mix in a ventilated place. You should mix in a ventilated place. Maybe in the place of you trying to be over careful, you might mix in a place where there is no ventilation. The right way to mix chemical is to mix it in a ventilated area to avoid suffocation of the person mixing it. The best way is to mix where there is proper ventilation. Also, you stay away from children and animals, even up to livestock, or you stay away from them because these are so harmful to them. So you have to mix where in a proper ventilated area, but away from plants and away from children and animals, and also away from plants that pesticide is not meant for, because it's going to cause harm to those plants. So you have to mix in a well ventilated area. Also, you should use a calibrated knapsack sprayer and spray early in the morning or late in the night, in the evening, sorry. Spray early it is good and very advisable to spray early in the morning or late in the evening. This is to reduce evaporation and protect bees, because bees are safe insects. Bees are safe insects. So if you don't want the chemicals to affect the bees as well, you spray early in the morning or late in the evening to prevent evaporation of the chemicals, which is going to cause air pollution, and to also to keep the bees from being harmed as well. Also, you have to, when you are spraying, you walk backwards against the wind, not towards the wind. Because when you are walking towards the wind, you are going to inhale it and it's going to affect you. So you spray backward against the wind to avoid inhaling the spray. Also, do not spray if rain is expected or when it is too windy, which is why you have to be conversant with the weather forecast tools in your vicinity. Okay, when is rain coming? Then I cannot spray today. I have to spray tomorrow. You have to plan with the weather forecast to know when to spray and when not to spray. If you are able to apply these applications and these safety precautions, you are sure to know that you are properly applying the pesticide for effective and safe results. And this is very important. Spray only when you see signs, not just for spraying sake. When you see signs or when you see reasons for you to spray, that is when you should spray. You should not just spray like, okay, this is how I did it last year, then I should do it again this year. No. Or this is how I did it for this production window, then I'm going to do it again this production window. It is very important that you spray when you see signs. Now, like I said, what are the safety gears you need when handling pesticide? What are the safety gears you need? First of all, you need face mask or respirator. You need face mask. Also, you need safety goggles to wear to prevent your eyes, and you need face mask or respirator to prevent your nose from inhaling the spray. You also need long sleeve shirts and trousers to prevent skin contact. You need boots and also rubber gloves. Now, how should you store and dispose pesticide and their containers? Like I said in the first part, in the previous episode on this topic, is that do not burn the container of your pesticide. Do not burn. Yes, burning might look like it is safe, but it is not safe. Do not burn your container, the pesticide container. What you should do is that in case the chemical is remaining, you keep them in their original containers and keep them safe. Or if you and store them in a cabinet or box away from children. Also, never keep chemicals in water or soda bottle, because these things are both chemicals and their reaction might be very dangerous. So the best thing to do is keep chemicals in their original containers. and store them away in a box, away from children or animals. And after, how to dispose chemicals correctly, chemical containers correctly. How do you dispose them? First of all, you rinse the container as much as possible. You rinse it as much as possible, after which you puncture them. So they won't be able you won't be able to use them again. You puncture them so you won't be able to use them again. Thirdly, you bury them or take to a designated site if possible. You puncture them, you bury them or take them to a disposal site. We have safe disposal site for containers like this. So you take them to those sites or you bury them. Never burn them. Please and please, never burn your chemical containers. Now, let's take a look at the natural alternatives to chemical pesticides. So, what are some natural alternatives to chemical pesticide? What are some alternatives to chemical pesticide? Some of them have been mentioned in the previous part of this conversation, of this topic. And one of it is neem leaf extract. Neem leaf extract is good for caterpillars and aphids. Caterpillars that affect maize and aphids that affect peas, cowpea. They affect cowpea. So neem leaf extract is very good for these. It is very good as a natural alternative to chemical pesticide. Another one is chili garlic spray. Chili garlic spray, this helps to repel insects and it is very easy to make. Insects, was maybe ants or any insect that we see, chili garlic spray is very potent as a natural solution to control pests. Rather than just using pesticide, you can use neem leaf extract for your caterpillar and aphid, as well as chili garlic spray for your insect. Also, ash or wood ash dusting is very effective based on research for weevils and soft body pests. Ash or wood ash is very effective for weevils and soft body pests. Also, soft solutions like mild detergent kills soft body insects like white flies. So these, rather than just, when you see some of these insects, rather than just buying a chemical pesticide, we can use this and they are very affordable and easy to access within our farmers. So they are natural solutions that can help control pests in a very eco-friendly and safe manner. Also, you can also make use of biological control like ladybirds, parasitic wasps, and also making use of disease-resistant varieties. Disease-resistant varieties. Planting disease-resistant, pest-resistant varieties are all natural solutions to help control pests in a sustainable and climate-friendly manner. Now, what is the best way to spray without harming oneself? These are one of the questions that our farmers ask. And one of it is based on what we've mentioned in the fourth conversation question, that you should protect yourself. Wear protective gels. Read your labels, And also, read your labels, wear protective clothing, do not spray near water bodies wait for pre-harvest interval to before harvesting. Pray for pre-harvest interval to avoid chemical residue in agricultural produce. Also, use buffer zones. What this means is that you should use strips of unsprayed land. For example, after you sprayed, wherever you sprayed, you should mark it to prevent you overspraying. Now, based on our last episode, one of the questions that came up is, we mentioned that IPM, which is Integrated Pest Management, is one of the sustainable and climate-friendly way of pesticide control. And it is brought to our notice that what is IPM? And I'm going to explain this now. IPM means Integrated Pest Management, and it means that you combining different methods to control pests with minimal use of chemicals. So rather than just depending on chemical alone as a control, we can mix all the methods like cultural methods, traditional method, biological method, before you consider chemical method. And some of the natural method is using neem, biological method, using biological organisms like ladybug, bees, and the like. And also mechanical control like and picking the pests and setting of traps or barriers, cultural practices like crop rotation, early planting, using pest-free seeds. Then now, before you now come to chemical, and when you only use chemical only when it is necessary. You don't have to depend on chemical. The main aim of integrated pest management is to ensure that you only use chemical when necessary. Now, what do you do? What do you do when you expose yourself to chemical or pesticide? What should you do? First of all, what you should do is that, because accident happen. So what you should do first of all is wash the skin with lots of clean water and soap. Wash the skin with lots of clean water and soap. Also, avoid scrubbing the infected area. Avoid scrubbing the infected area and get to the hospital as soon as possible. And also, it is very important to keep emergency numbers. So whenever you expose yourself to these chemicals accidentally, the best thing to do is to wash your skin with soap and water for like 15 minutes. If irritation continues, go to the hospital as soon as possible. Don't start, or if you mistakenly drink or ingest the chemical, don't start drinking milk or palm oil. Like we all know, the best thing is to quickly go to the hospital or house, get clean water, and go to clean with clean water, or go to nearest health center available. It is very important to ensure safety and safety precautions when applying chemicals. chemical pesticide. And now we've come to the end of our talk today, and we've been able to learn about how to carefully apply pesticide, what is IPM, what are the safety precautions to look out for when applying pesticide, how should you correct application of chemicals, and also in case you accidentally expose yourself to chemicals, what are the safety precautions to take? Thank you so much for listening. I hope you've been able to learn one or two from these episodes. If, as an expert, if you have any one or two knowledge to share with the farmers out there, you can do well to contact the WhatsApp number on our screen, and we will be more than happy to host you on our channel. Thank you so much for listening. Again, till I come your way again, stay safe and be informed. Bye.